The suicide rate in the United States jumped 24% in the years between 1999 and 2014, and they continue to rise since then. The annual rate of suicide jumped from 1% to 2% a year between 2006 and 2014 as the recession settled in. This increase included men and women in all age groups between 10 and 74. For women between 45 and 64, the rate of suicide in 2014 jumped 80% over 1999. Amazingly, for girls between 5 to 15 years old, rates of suicide tripled between 1999 and 2014. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death for all ages. I just read that the suicide rate for farmers is at least twice that of veterans, and as most people know, the rate of suicide for veterans is much higher than the main population. Not only is suicide on the rise, the cases of anxiety disorders and depression are crippling people at an incredible rate. Anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the U.S., affecting 40 million adults ages 18 and older, or 18% of the population. Globally, an estimated 350 million people of all ages suffer from depression. Depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide and is a major contributor to the overall global burden of disease. Something is gravely wrong. Many, many people have lost hope in just about everything. Helplessness versus hopelessness. We all feel helpless at times, and rightly so, because we have very little control over most of the events that happen in our lives. I'm going to die. I am helpless to stop that. That is a fact. We also feel hopeless at times, which is not the same thing as helpless, and it is not something we can afford to believe. Hopelessness is an opinion, an attitude. It is not a fact. I can think that since I'm helpless about the fact that I'm going to die, there is no point in being alive. Nothing matters. I'm doomed. I can also say that though I am helpless about my dying, I still see value in being alive. I can add beauty and inspiration to life. I can find beauty and inspiration from life. There is much that I can do with my time. We might be helpless in many ways in our lives, but we are never hopeless unless we buy into it. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, discusses in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, one area where we are not helpless, and that keeps us from being hopeless. This area is within us and not from the outside. He said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." This is not just mindless happy talk from a slogan writer. This man went through hell. He did lose almost everything that was important to him. He speaks from experience. We as a people need to find our way to a sense of joy and peace and meaning, and most importantly, hope in our lives. We must not let fear, cynicism, anger, and hopelessness continue to dominate us as they have been dominating us lately. Obviously, we must continue to work on changing those things in society that abuse and degrade people. We must stand for something. We must be there for each other. In addition to this, though, we must change the way we think, live, and move through life as it concerns us as individuals. Part of that change is in how we look at hope in general. I believe that for many, hope has become a banal word signifying just wishing for something. I hope I win the lottery or the big game. So there is nothing wrong with wishing for a happy ending. Who of us suffering does not want a happy ending? The deeper meaning of hope transcends personal outcomes. It relates back to the spirit of the person. It is the belief that people can not only endure whatever they are facing, they can grow from it and they can find peace within themselves no matter what the outcome. They might lose someone or something they love, perhaps even their own life, but they will not be defeated. They will find meaning and courage and growth from whatever it is they are experiencing. They also believe that the situation as it is does not have to stay that way. They might not be around to see the change, but they are working for that change anyways. The starkness of losing hope is not that people might lose something important, but that they might lose themselves, their spirit, their soul, their dreams, the core of who they are. I believe the best way to facilitate this process of change and rediscovering hope is through the prism of the arts. Richard Eyre said, "Change begins with understanding, and understanding begins by identifying oneself with another person. In a word, empathy. The arts enable us to put ourselves in the minds, eyes, ears, and hearts of other human beings." Hopelessness can be a killer, physically and psychologically, and spiritually and emotionally. However, it can also be a call to action. It can be the breeding ground for change and action. The arts can make the difference in what direction hopelessness goes. The power of hope. The power of hope is a response to the call for change. It is a statement that we are capable of better. We are capable of helping each other rise above the problems and setbacks that face all of us. We are capable of great love and compassion and resiliency. The power of hope reaffirms Václav Havel's statement that hope is a state of mind, not of the world. It is the ability to work for something because it is good. The power of hope is a statement of that hope and a calling out to our better nature. Most importantly, it is an affirmation that we can and we will answer that call. The power of hope is designed to explore and celebrate through music and other artistic forms how people find and keep that belief, that hope, in themselves in situations that seem hopeless. This hopelessness might come from global events and the unending violence here and around the world. It might be from something like dealing with a life-altering injury or terminal disease or crushing poverty or never-ending bullying and discrimination or losing a loved one. The power of hope focuses on a group of people, a metaphorical family of humanity getting through a day where crushing adverse events are everywhere. It consists of 21 different musical pieces. This, quote, day could be a day or a month or years. It signifies the struggle we all face, though some much more than others, to find strength and a belief in ourselves and to help others find it in themselves. This discovery then leads to using that strength and that hope as a healing force and a force for change both for ourselves and our world. Finally, the power of hope is about celebrating those who have made this journey from hopelessness to hope and who have inspired us to believe that this journey is possible, especially if we are there for each other. It was inspired by all people who have striven to overcome hopelessness in their lives, whether it be in Darfur or Missouri. The author has witnessed this phenomenon many times in his work with people in incredibly difficult situations, such as having cancer or AIDS or having children murdered. The courage and resourcefulness of these people shows what we are capable of if we believe in ourselves and are there for others. An earlier version of this piece was performed in Kampala, Uganda in 2013 and 2015. It was choreographed by Valerie McKell, who has been featured on CNN International, and performed by the company she founded in Kampala, the Uganda National Contemporary Ballet Company. The author, composer. Scott Sheperd, PhD, believes this piece combines two areas that he is especially interested in and has a great deal of training and experience with. Dr. Sheperd has a BA in music, an MA in mass communication, and a PhD in counseling. He was trained as a classical pianist and also played for years with jazz groups. He has been composing seriously since 2009. He also has worked for years with people dealing with terminal and chronic illnesses, people with addiction to alcohol and other drugs, and with people who had lost loved ones. This last group included people who had their children murdered or people whose loved one committed suicide. He has also worked with children in schools, helping them deal with issues around self-worth and bullying. He has had 5 books published on these various issues. Much of what he has learned from his experiences has gone into this composition. He speaks now to many types of groups on rekindling their heart and rediscovering their hope. A song of hope. Find the least among us. Listen to their voice. Stories filled with sadness, a life of little choice. Hear the drums beating whenever they try. Feel the rising mantra amid their desperate cry. Hope for the ages as the lyrics dawn. Listen to the music as their song is born. Find the strength and courage to let them sing for you, for they will tell the story of all we need to do. Piece 1, Pulse of Pain. When you are living in a world where you are experiencing constant, overwhelming adversity, there is a pulse of pain as constant as the pulse coursing through your body. You have to acknowledge this pulse, this pain, before you can change it. Awareness of what is going on and your resources to deal with this pain is critical for you right now. Don't deny this pain and don't self-medicate it with alcohol and drugs. Don't feed the hopelessness with your own thoughts. Become aware of how this pulse of pain works. Start to see what triggers it and what diminishes it, even if for only a short while. Even though it's very hard to do, you need to believe that this pulse of pain can end. And most importantly, it can end without ending your pulse of life. You need to understand that you can rest in peace without being dead. In fact, resting in peace is sitting on your chair thinking, I feel peaceful. Being dead is being dead. It isn't peaceful, it's dead. Don't go there. If death looks peaceful and a possible way to end the pulse of pain, talk to someone. Your mind is tricking you. Your pulse of pain can end while your pulse of life continues on. Many, many people have found that to be true. Acknowledge the pain and the fear and everything else associated with it and believe that you can rise above it. Again, find someone to help you with that belief and who can give you tools to rise above it. It is possible. We hear about the ones that don't, but there are many more who do rise above. Remember, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Stephen King. Do not lose hope. What you seek will be found. Trust dreams, trust your heart, and trust your story. Neil Gaiman. Corazon. I am an anthrax, butcher bacterium, warm life destroying. Morpheus. I am a world, space floating, life nurturing. Corazon. I am a nova, all exploding, planet cremating. Morpheus. I am the universe, all things encompassing, all life embracing. Corazon. I am anti-life, the beast of judgment. I am the dark at the end of everything. The end of universes, gods, worlds, of everything. And what will you be then, Dream Lord? Morpheus. I am hope. Neogemin. Piece 2, Before the Day. There is a small moment of time after just awakening when the day is still and new and fresh and where there is a feeling of peace and hope and beauty. It might be for only a second or a minute. It might seem like an apparition on a dark night or the hint of a breeze on a sultry day, but it is there. Hope is still there. The challenge is to grasp it before it disappears and to bring it into your heart. Stay aware. Stay open to possibilities. Stay open to that elusive breeze on a sweltering day. One breeze leads to another. Eventually, you create your own breezes. It might take a while, but it happens. If you're not sure how, get help now. There are people who can help you create your own breezes. I believe that imagination is stronger than knowledge, that myth is more potent than history, that dreams are more powerful than facts, that hope always triumphs over experience, that laughter is the only cure for grief, and I believe that love is stronger than death. Robert Fulghum. To be truly radical is to make hope possible rather than despair convincing. Raymond Williams. Piece 3. Something missing. You might believe that something is missing in you, that you are flawed and not capable of dealing with the life you are facing. You are wrong. What you think is missing is actually there inside of you. You are just having trouble finding it. It's easier to just quit looking than to ask for help, especially if you don't believe that what you need is there at all. Keep looking. Get help in your search. Talk to someone. You are worth the effort, even if you don't believe that. You are worth the effort. Just remember that you have survived so far. That is not insignificant. You have survived so far. Maybe that doesn't sound like much, but it is. You can overcome adversity again. Prepare yourself. Get help. Believe in yourself. Get help. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Langston Hughes. Great hope has no real footing unless one is willing to face into the doom that may also be on the way. Norman Mailer. Triptych of Icarus by Yara Zraib. We shall find peace. We shall hear angels. We shall see the sky sparkling with diamonds. Anton Chekhov. Part 1. Icarus on his feet. The man's back is classroom straight and alert for not having shouldered any weight. His hair is warm gold for having drunk sea salt and having grazed the noon sun. Mountaintop, mountain air. Mountain lungs inhale wide. The man exhales loud. Let the valley hear his breath before it resonates with his sound. The man's feet lift off, no sandbags to hold them. His strides are large, his view long. Man on his feet is young. He has only met sun, air, and sea so far. He knows of the laws of nature, but has not encountered them yet. He has not felt gravity, heat, cold, hunger that hurts. Sensation is still thrill. His cheeks flush deliciously pink as his big eyes take in a bigger horizon. Its lines blur deceptively at its extremes. Wishes look like promises from here. Man on his feet dreams of kicking them off into flight and mistakes that for hope. Wine, girls, and the music in his head turn his strides to a run, to a leap. Triptych of Icarus, on his feet, on his toes, on a gust of wind blowing north. The air applauds loudly in his ears, through his nostrils, and dries the sweat on his brow. Icarus is a boy whose bravery is bravado and whose eyes only look forward, up.
There's something missing inside of me, an empty space inside of me. I had it once inside of me, but now no trace inside of me. I think it's deep inside of me. I think it's hiding there, but I just can't find it, and now I don't care. I know there's more inside of with me. I've got to find it hiding inside of me, but I get lost looking inside of me. I'm just tired of wasting my life away. I've got to make a new start, so I've got to look real deep in my heart. I'm just tired of wasting my life away. I've got to make a new start, so I've got to look real deep in my heart, real deep in my heart, real deep in my heart.
Piece 4, moving it. You have to move. You know that on some level, hope involves movement. It is not just about wishing for a happy outcome. It is not just wishing life would change. You have to move toward hope, toward life. The movement might be physical, emotional, or spiritual, or all of them. Even if the movement is scattered and herky-jerky right now, you have to move. Movement says life. Movement says hope. Movement says, I can still make things happen. I can still make things better. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't wait for good things to happen to you. If you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. You will fill yourself with hope. Barack Obama. Hope is the heartbeat of the soul. Michelle Horst. Piece 5, At Midnight. From the depths of your despair, you can find something to help you rise above it. There is a rhythm calling to you. Maybe you call this rhythm God, or the universal power, or your own spirit that was hiding deep inside of you. It is there. You can feel it if you let yourself feel it. You might need help in finding it. That is no disgrace. We all need help from time to time. It takes courage to ask for that help. If you let it, a new rhythm can embrace you. You can celebrate the rise of hope from the ashes of hopelessness. Sometimes this rising from the ashes begins right at the moment you think everything is lost. Midnight is often used as a metaphor for the end, but midnight can also be the beginning, a new chance. Having your back against the wall and feeling that time is running out does not have to be overwhelming. It can be a time that sharpens your senses and focuses your energy. It can be a time of opportunity, even in the midst of a mess. It is never too late to start over. But hope is no less realistic than despair. It is still our choice whether to live in light or lie down in darkness. Rick Yancey. Hopelessness is a belief. A belief is a thought, and thoughts can be changed. They are all the time. Scott Sheperd. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. There were many dark moments when my faith in humanity was sorely tested, but I would not and could not give myself up to despair. That way lays defeat and death. Nelson Mandela. It is by choice and not by chances that we change our circumstances. Nadia Sahari. Piece 6, Waken. At some point you realize that it is critical that your spirit must waken and get in sync with your movement. You cannot be scattered to the wind. Now you need movement with a purpose. You must begin to focus on not only surviving, but thriving. Pay attention to any moment you feel better. Don't blow it off. Focus, focus, focus. Let the rhythms outside of you and inside of you begin to mesh. I have come to accept the feeling of not knowing where I am going, and I've trained myself to love it, because it is only when we are suspended in midair with no landing in sight that we force our wings to unravel and begin our flight. And as we fly, we still may not know where we are going to, but the miracle is in the unfolding of the wings. You may not know where you're going, but you know that so long as you spread your wings, the winds will carry you. C. Joy Bell, C. Piece 7, Kids. Even at the worst of times, kids can remind you of your spirit. Your spirit might be buried and beaten, but it is still there. Kids bring hope by their very essence. They bring spontaneity, curiosity, and joy. They bring life. They are like a fine jazz piece. Kids can trigger a rejuvenation within you, but you have to be open to join in. Allow the children in your life, or if you don't have any kids in your life, kids in general, to rekindle your spirit and your heart. If you can't open up to allow that even to begin, get some help. Get some help. I look in the mirror through the eyes of the child that was me. Judy Collins. The soul is healed by being with children. Fyodor Dostoevsky. Piece 8, Drought. Hopelessness can make you feel dried out. Your creative juices seem gone. Inspiration seems to have disappeared as just surviving takes all your energy. The drought itself seems to have its own rhythm. If you are not careful, you will fall under its spell and lie down and die. Giving up is seductive. It pretends it is rest. It pretends it is peace, but it isn't. It is a mirage. It is death. Don't believe it. Keep moving. Keep looking for your water, your nourishment. Hope does not leave without being given permission. Rick Riordan. The lunchtime wine fest is like a festering point for hopelessness. The thought of hopelessness can be like a virus. What started out as one person feeling hopeless is now many, all agreeing with each other and strengthening their beliefs in their own hopelessness. Scott Sheperd. Piece 9, Sprinkle. There is just a beginning of a shower, teasing you, tantalizing you. Is it the beginning of real nourishment or just a fantasy? Can you allow yourself to believe in water again? What if it is just a tease? Will that crush you? No, no. You will continue looking if it isn't real this time. But perhaps it is. The rain has to start somewhere. Get ready. Welcome a new start. A laugh, a smile, a touch of warmth, even a moment of beauty. Welcome it. Savor it. And indeed it could be said that once the faintest stirring of hope became possible, the dominion of plague was ended. Albert Camus. I believe in hope, in what is something called radical hope. I believe there's hope for all of us, even amid the suffering. And that's why I write fiction, probably. It's my attempt to keep that fragile strand of radical hope, to build a fire in the darkness. John Green. Piece 10, Rain, Get It Going. Thunder, the storm is coming, but is it a storm bringing you your nourishment, or is it a storm bringing you more grief? The energy is fierce. Something is fighting for your spirit. It is death. Death wants your spirit. Death wants your body. Do not give in to it. You must engage the energy of the storm. You can make that energy your nourishment. The storm, instead of defeating you, can help you. Allow your spirit to celebrate. Even in the mud and scum of things, something always, always sings. Ralph Waldo Emerson. For like a shaft, clear and cold, the thought pierced him that in the end, the shadow was only a small and passing thing. There was light and high beauty forever beyond its reach. J.R.R. Tolkien. It is not light that we need, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. Frederick Douglass. Piece 11, Hopelessness Returns. Just when your spirit comes alive, hopelessness shows its ugly face again. It is back. You must face it again. It is not enough to overcome the feeling of hopelessness just once. The trick is doing it over and over. Though right now it might seem hard to believe, the more you overcome hopelessness, the less it returns. But it will continue to return until you know that hope resides in you. I've learned that no matter how inspired, fired up, and motivated you might be, the dark clouds will always set in. Bernard Calvin Cleve. Sometimes the dark clouds don't bring rain. They just bring dark, and you must find your way. Scott Sheperd. Piece 12, Waterhole. Caution is the byword. Just as animals at a waterhole look up every few seconds to scan their environment, so must you be aware. Whether it is an external or internal threat to your physical existence or your spiritual, emotional one, you must be aware. You have to be observant. But you must not only be aware of possible troubles, you must look for beauty and allies and things that increase your strength. There are people you can go to who can help you with your awareness skills. Find them. Hope attracts chances. Toby Beta. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore. William Faulkner. You do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. Thomas Merton. Part 2, Icarus on his face. The earth smells strongly of moisture and brown. Brown is a smell and a taste. It fills the man's mouth, nose, and every slight crease streaming out his eyes, down his face. Brown lines his eyelashes and infiltrates the frontier between brow and hair, overtaking gold and pink and even the space under his fingernails. Brown is a feeling that creeps into man's closed fists and his firmest convictions. It soaks through his shirt and settles into his bones. Icarus is aware of his ribs, aware some are broken, aware that they hurt, aware that deeper something burns. Man on his face feels more surprise than pain, really. At first, at least. At first. Man on his face has never been further from sky, closer to earth. Contact shocks his senses into the purely present and physical. There is no transcendence in this dark opacity, no light on this side of his face. His lungs have been sucked empty from all air, and his back is cold and bare. Triptych of Icarus on his face, on the ground. No movement or sound in this scene. Disillusion like heavy snow falls thick and silent. Man on his face does not protest. He cannot see sky, not that he is looking, but disillusion is not despair. Man does not know that yet, however. Icarus lies still on his face. Until, through the brown, something infinitely small reaches up, irritates his nose. Nothing has changed. Still at one with reality, man on his face touches hope. Piece 13, Romance, Careless. In the midst of hopelessness, love and desire can still touch us. The danger is that you might look for your love to be your escape or your answer to your problems. Doing that can take your focus away from the work you still must do for yourself. The beauty of those who love you, whether it's romantic love or family love or friendship, is that their love can also renew your spirit and help you recover your hope. The balance between using that love in a productive way or becoming totally dependent on it is precarious. You are still responsible for your life. And I sometimes think that a moment of touching is the difference between complete utter despair and the ability to carry on. Eleanor Cameron. Life is a hard battle anyway. If we laugh and sing a little as we fight the good fight of freedom, it makes it all go easier. I will not allow my life's light to be determined by the darkness around me. Sojourner Truth. Piece 14, The Struggle. Your spirit and your heart are under attack. Hopelessness is threatening to crush you. Hopelessness knows it can kill you if you let it. The fight is on. The danger is real. The terror is real. The struggle is violent and fierce. Most people cannot see the struggle you are going through. You must let those who love you and those who can help you see what you are dealing with. You will need every resource you can tap into. Use them. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle. Martin Luther King. Without a struggle, there can be no progress. Frederick Douglass. Piece 15. Goodbye. You have lost something important. Maybe it is a person. Maybe it is your health or a dream or your innocence. It is a grievous loss. It hurts so much. We don't want to, but we know we have to say goodbye to that which we have lost. That doesn't mean we forget it, but it does mean we recognize that our life is now different. We have to learn how to say goodbye and move through our grief to a point of healing. As that which we have loved leaves, there are two figures next to it. You must pick one. The choice is yours. You can choose hopelessness and die, or you can choose hope and heal. The choice, surprisingly, is so difficult. Saying goodbye is so terribly sad. You can't go around it. You have to go through it. Hopelessness offers the void. Hope offers life. Maybe what you lost is your image. You have always been the one people come to. You're the helper. You're always so positive. You encourage people. You have it all together. Except you don't. How can you ask for help now? You feel trapped. Maybe you feel like a fraud. People will find out you've been faking it. You're not a fake. You're not a fraud. You're a human being. Welcome to the club. Helpers need help sometimes. Don't let your ego kill you. Piece 16. Who knows the way? Hopelessness can be all-encompassing. It is as if you have totally lost your way. Trying to find peace or truth or warmth can sometimes be overwhelming. Peace is there. It might be hidden, but it is there. There are those who can help you in those dark times. They can shed some light on the trail. What you need to bring most of all is courage and love. Those qualities will help you in your lowest times. Your mantra must become, you might knock me down and I might lose my way for a while, but you will not defeat me. The you of that mantra might be cancer or enemy forces or the loss of a loved one. It doesn't matter. What matters is the belief in yourself. Something incredibly important that you must remember is that hopelessness feeds off of your thoughts. Sometimes you just can't trust your thoughts. When you are so tired and so exhausted, your mind can lead you into bad places. You might think it is helping you find your way, but it isn't. Get help to look at your thoughts critically. You can find your way. To love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weights you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief. You think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes. And you say, yes, I will take you. I will love you again. Ellen Bass. Where there is no hope, it is incumbent on us to invent it. Albert Camus. Piece 17, wrenching. Back again is the hopelessness. It is relentless, but it is not all-powerful. You now know you will not be defeated by it. You have been knocked down and gotten up again, and again. You take the power from the oppression and turn it into your own power. You do not become consumed with hate or bitterness or hopelessness. The sadness does not control you. You drink in the strength of life around you, and you bring forth the strength within you. It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart and frank. It's probably my job to tell you life isn't fair, but I figure you already know that. So instead, I'll tell you that hope is precious, and you're right not to give up. C.J. Redwine. In a time of destruction, create something. Maxine Hong Kingston. Piece 18, quiet, rest. Perhaps this is the most important thing next to asking for help, and that is making time to rest and renew. You must make time to rest and meditate and observe the beauty around you and in you. You must create quiet time. You must renew your spirit and your strength. Sitting and dwelling on misery is not resting and renewing. Learn how to meditate. Believe that true quiet and rest can strengthen your spirit and renew your heart. Quiet opens up your spirit to the presence of hope. This is not the end of the day. It is the rest you need during the day. Some people believe they have to stay busy, or the darkness will descend upon them. They burn themselves out running from the darkness, the weight. You can stop being busy and clear the darkness. Learn how to do this. Again, there are people who can help you with this critical skill. It will not happen overnight, but it will happen if you engage it. Part 3, Icarus on his back. Man turns to his back, gasping for air, rubbing the earth from his face. Pink peeks through the brown, molds into the brown. His hair is syrupy, warm yellow. No longer frightened of this earth he now knows, man stretches his weight into it, his back across it, every cell of his skin fiercely awake. Sensation. No revolt or resignation, just extreme awareness. Touch, smell, sound, taste. Yes, skin can taste. So can soul. Man on his back looks up. There is no boy in this triptych or myth. Just sky, infinite sky. Its infinite stars shower an infinity of life over man. Past, present, future. All present washes over him, his impermanence, soaking him with love and despair. This is what beauty must be. Seedlings growing timidly from the cold ground. He feels them in his back beneath him, in spite of him. Icarus on his back flies. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Emily Dickinson. Hope is a waking dream. Aristotle. We dream to give ourselves hope. To stop dreaming, well, that's like saying you can never change your fate. Amy Tan. Piece 19. Hot. After the quiet, you must kick back into moving. Now you are stronger than before. You are stronger than ever. You are not running from the darkness. You are running toward life. This movement might be with your body or your mind or both. Even though the day is getting close to ending, you must not quit. Create your own rhythm. Create your own hope. Movement means being alive. Moving with energy and power means thriving no matter what. This movement not only energizes you, it energizes all who are around you. And as I watched him, I knew that in every dark night there was somewhere a small light burning that could never be quenched. Juliette Marillier. Don't despair. Despair suggests you are in total control and know what is coming. You don't. Surrender to events with hope. Alain de Botton. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. William Shakespeare. Piece 20, Evening. The end of the day is near. You have survived. You have done more than survive. You have moved forward. You feel the peace of a world settling into sleep. You smell the beauty of another evening. But this evening, hopelessness does not stalk you. You know it exists. You know it can strike back if you become careless. But you are not afraid. Love will not be defeated by fear. Touch the things that energize you. Perhaps it is a person or an animal or a piece of art or music. Go outside and take in nature. Breathe it in. Don't think about it. Breathe it in. Each breath brings hope with it. Everybody has a home team. It's the people you call when you get a flat tire or when something terrible happens. It's the people who, near or far, know everything that's wrong with you and love you anyways. These are the ones who tell you their secrets, who get themselves a glass of water without asking when they're at your house. These are the people who cry when you cry. These are your people, your middle of the night, no matter what people. Shauna Niequist. Of course, the sad truth is that not everybody does have a home team. But you can be somebody's home team. You can be that person. You can't be that for everyone, but you can be that for someone. Scott Sheperd. Piece 21, Proud. This is a tribute to those who have faced hopelessness in many forms and were not defeated by it. These are the people who showed us that hopelessness could be defeated. Some of these people are known by many, some are known by few, but they all fought the good fight. They rediscovered their light and their fire. They rediscovered their meaning of life. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, said, "He who has a why can bear any how." We need to know why we are alive. What is our meaning? The good thing is that our meaning of life is not hiding from us. We create it. Frankl also said, "For the meaning of life differs from man to man, from day to day, and from hour to hour. What matters, therefore, is not the meaning of life in general, but rather the specific meaning of a person's life at a given moment." These survivors found their meaning for life in any given moment. They created it. It only had to make sense to them. You are not alone. Touch the people and things you love. Allow yourself to be touched by those who love you and those who want to help you. Talk to helpers who will work with you on this journey. Believe in yourself, even if it is difficult. There is much difficulty and sadness and ugliness in life. There is also much beauty and love and kindness. That beauty and love and kindness is not only in life, it is in you. Let it out. Share it. Be a beacon for others who are struggling. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Nelson Mandela. Don't worry if people think you're crazy. You are crazy. You have that kind of intoxicating insanity that lets other people dream outside of the lines and become who they're destined to be. Jennifer Elizabeth. Carry the fire. Cormac McCarthy. There is nothing more majestic than the determined courage of individuals willing to suffer and sacrifice for their freedom and dignity. Martin Luther King. Never give up. It's like breathing. Once you quit, your flame dies, letting total darkness extinguish every last gasp of hope. You can't do that. You must continue taking in even the shallowest of breaths. Continue putting forth even the smallest of efforts to sustain your dreams. Don't ever, ever, ever give up. Rochelle E. Goodrich. Piece 22, celebrate. Another day, another chance. Celebrate that chance. Celebrate your life again, the good and the bad. Celebrate yourself, warts and all. Celebrate your strengths and your ability to deal with your weaknesses. You're not perfect, nobody is. But you are you. You are unique. You have something to offer. Celebrate that.
Another day, another chance, another day, another dance I've got to learn, another day to start anew, another day to see it through. The spark is back, the fire is coming.